evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the official season launch for the 2012 Forestry Tasmania Northern Premier League. Terrific to see just about every club represented here tonight for the both the men's and women's Premier League divisions. And very shortly we'll hear from our CEO from Football Federation Tasmania. But we would like to especially welcome not only the club officials and players here this evening, but also to the FFT CEO, Mr. John Poulos, who we'll hear from very shortly, and fellow FFT directors as well. To Senator Richard Colbeck, we thank you for coming along and showing your support tonight as well. And also Peter Bird from Forestry Tasmania. Mayor, Mr. Steve Martin, he has been held up, but hopefully will be here before too long as well. And also to our representatives from the referees, a very good evening and welcome. The CEO of Football Federation Tasmania, Mr. John Poulos.
Of the Board of Directors of Football Federation Tasmania and all the staff, we welcome you here tonight to what is an exciting 2012 season. So we have support here, and certainly we're looking to obviously continue to build relationships and grow what is a very strong football league in the north and northwest of the state. It's just a great opportunity to be able to kick off the start of the year here with a few drinks and a bit of mingling between the teams, and certainly with the view then to moving into competition from next week on. As you know, we have a number of competitions. We're straight into obviously round one and then move into the statewide cup for those teams that are still in. So it's a busy schedule of events. I know all clubs have been working hard since probably before Christmas, but obviously getting to the business end now where round one is looking like commencing, and as I said, excitement and momentum's building. Thank you everyone, and certainly I thank Forestry Tasmania and PD that's here tonight on behalf of Bob. We really appreciate your support.
This is our fourth year, and it's always been a particularly good thing to be involved in. And I guess one of the things we can look at tonight is behind me is a new logo set up for the Forestry Tasmania, Football Federation Tasmania background, and I understand this is the launch of it tonight as well. They didn't get it in Hobart, so it's good to see that.
We'll get a look and see and a preview as to how things are tracking with the other clubs. So we might ask for Bernie to come forward first of all. Good evening, of course, away to Riverside this Sunday in your first game of the season. What's the feeling amongst the players as you head into season 2012?
We're feeling pretty confident. We had our first win last week in the pre-season cup against Devonport, and we've got a new bunch of girls, so we're just looking forward to working well together as a team. Excellent.
And no fears heading up to Riverside and playing at Windsor Park?
No, not at all.
It's Devonport, and Devonport this weekend taking on UTAS, who unfortunately can't be here. I think they're behind closed doors doing some preparations for Sunday, I think. So you got a little bit to fear there, do you think?
No, not at all. Definitely not. They're going to need a lot of preparation.
There's definitely no one here, so the word's staying here. And how's things been for the club this pre-season, and how are you looking numbers-wise particularly as well?
We've had very constant numbers, 14 and above, which is really good for the pre-season. And we've got a lot of new players this year, so a lot of youth coming through. So we're developing that as a club and sticking strong by it. So. Yep.
Now for Launceston City, have we got a rep from each side, or we just got the one? Just the one? Well, the big derby happening, or derby, whatever you'd like to call it, happening this Sunday as well. That'll give a good indication as to what the gap's like as well.
Yeah, we're really lucky that we've got two teams that are representing this year, and we've done that for the past. We've got great depth in our club, and looking forward to playing against each other. And
with the depth and the success that the club has had, has that helped in attracting even more numbers up to Launceston City?
Yes, it has. We've got those juniors coming through, and they know that they can aspire to, a team that's just a little bit lower, where it's a developmental squad mainly, and then play with more experienced players. So we've got a really good pathway, and it's been a long time. It's been hard work going through, and Jason Jones, the president and the coach, has sort of really pushed for that development process to occur.
Good evening, and success with the men's, of course, last year. Has that given you added incentive to try and really get up there and show them something as well?
Oh, look, we always aspire to be like the men, but, we've always struggling to get numbers with the women's, unfortunately. Lots of new legs this year and lots of first-time players, as we always seem to get, but, let's build a strong team, and we hopefully will have a foundation for next year as well.
And the success of the club in winning the premiership in the men's, has that been a positive on the women's front? Have you seen that in numbers coming through over the summer?
Yes and no. I mean, with the women's team, like I said before, we do sometimes struggle with numbers, but I don't know, maybe because of the men winning last season, it might be a good thing for us this year to keep our numbers and keep the positivity happening in the team, so hopefully it's a good thing.
Riverside Olympic. Now, we've spoken with Bernie already, and you've got the hosting rights coming. How's the squad's preparations been for this season ahead? And Bernie seemed pretty confident. What about yourselves?
They do seem pretty confident. Well, we've had a pretty strong pre-season, lots of fitness training, which should go our way, and Bernie should look out.
Should look out. Okay, so Windsor Park will be the place to be. 12:30 Sunday.
Yep, 12:30 Sunday.
And Sunset. Now, you obviously you take on Launceston United first up. Who's caught your eye? You've picked up some good recruits and confident ahead.
Yeah, we've pretty much kept the same team as we've got last year. We've got a lot of young girls, good speed, fitness. Couldn't quite finish off the goals last year. We've had a pretty strong pre-season, so hopefully this year we'll finish up strong.
So on the pre-season front, what's the focus? Is it fitness and also match practice, or a combination of both?
Yeah, we've had a combination of both. Early on, obviously a bit more fitness. From the off season, we've had a few people into the club to help us train with ball skills, match fitness. Summer Cups obviously proved. The couple of games we played there was a good judge in where we're at. We're all a bit excited, and I'm sure we'll go okay.
It's to Ulverston. Right, good. Goals for the club this year in the women's side?
To get 11 players on a Sunday. We're struggling for numbers a bit at the moment. After Easter, hopefully that'll settle down. We've got a few that are away. We're a very, very young team at the moment. A lot of 15-year-olds, and it's probably the same for a few others. But yeah, the goal is to maybe get a decent squad of 16. So, our aim at the start of the year, believe it or not, was to have two teams like Launceston City, but a mass exodus when they found out I was coaching, and that went out the window.
You've gone from referee to coach?
Yeah, it's like in Star Wars, it's seen the light.
Was that an easy decision?
It was actually. Late last year, June last year, I started to suffer a bit of injury in the Achilles, and I decided back then when I stopped that it's maybe time to have a rest, and I decided that I was going to coach. Where was going to be the point. After a big discussion at home, I decided to apply for the Bernie job. I'd like $1 for every time everybody has said to me, a referee coaching Bernie, not a good recipe for disaster. But honestly, the reception of Bernie has been fantastic from players, committee, everybody. It's been absolutely brilliant. So I'm happy with the progress that they've made so far.
Well, it's been a big off-season and pre-season, I guess. You've got club legend Chris McKenna who's taken over the reins. So tell us a little bit, from a player's perspective, what's it like having someone like Chris who's been such an integral part as a player and now having him as coach? What's that done for the club?
It's done great things, really. He has been an integral part of our club and the Northern Premier League for a long time. He's been a stellar player. So we love to learn from him. He's got lots to teach us, and he's making big changes around our club.
Tough?
Yeah, it is tough life. Tough life, definitely.
Launceston City finished in 7th position in 2011. Now, we know there's been a big focus pre-season on perhaps a bit more ball work rather than running. So do you think you're in a better position perhaps to start the season well, that you've been concentrating a lot on the actual ball side of it?
Yeah, I'd say so. Lino hasn't been flogging us this year, so it's good to get a touch on the ball. But no, I think we're definitely better off this year than last year.
7th last year, of course. Expectations as you head into the year, any specific goals that the club has set?
Probably score more goals and finish top 4 would be the goal.
Yeah, it's been pretty well documented. Had a pretty bad run with injuries over the pre-season. You're confident you got the depth to start the season off on a positive note?
Yeah, well, we retained all the players from last year. We've also got a few back, so I look forward to a good year. And
pre-season wise, in terms of the matches that you've had under your belt, what sort of lessons have you learnt there that you can transition perhaps into on-field success?
I'll always try to give a lot of the youngsters a run, so the depth that we have in the club this year is going to hold some good stead if we do have some injuries later on in the year.
Now, of course, a club that has had enormous success over the last few years, and of course so desperately close last year as well. Who's caught your eye pre-season that everyone should watch out for?
Definitely Mark Ambrose, I think. He's been in form and he's actually not injured about time. But yeah, I think we should watch out for him.
And some of the clubs have struggled with some injuries over the pre-season. How's the squad looking ahead of your opening match?
Yeah, we've got the bye on the weekend, which is probably a good thing, and we're having a practice match. But with the injuries, everyone seems to be fit and going well, and I'm hoping that we can all stay fit for the whole season.
Well, Mark, was a big year for not only a big year for you too. How are things looking for you this year?
Yeah, things are looking really good. Last training week before your first match, you tend to get a few more players floating back to get a kick. So certainly the squad numbers have picked up this week, and I guess we have lost a couple, but we've picked up a couple of good players too. And talking to Anton, our president, on the way down, we crunched some numbers and looked at the squad we have for this week, and we're really pleased with how it's shaping up. So it should be good.
Well, that elusive first Premier League win in a bit over 3 years, that must be a big motivating factor, is it for you? But reasonable pre-season.
It's been a very good pre-season so far. We've had some good results in the Steve Hudson Cup. I'm not too sure how we didn't get any points at all last year. We had quite a few close games anyway, but we just didn't manage to, push it over the edge to get the points there. But quietly confident. No goals in particular, but I'd like to see obviously some results, and probably just finishing about fifth will be.
Now, numbers, I guess, we've heard have been a little bit of a problem pre-season, but now with the season upon us, how's the squad looking?
The squad's looking good. It's a very young side, but the older boys are starting to push with a bit of injuries and that. But coming into the season, we're looking pretty good. We're starting to get a bit of teamwork going. Oh, definitely got to get into that top four, just to get into that statewide cup. Just pushing all the way.
You've recruited pretty strongly, and I mean, obviously a lot of clubs are certainly expecting a lot from Ulverstone, and you've had a good pre-season. I guess the good omen is that runners-up in the Steve Hudson Cup's been a pretty good omen for the last couple of years. But as coach, I mean, do you ignore what others are saying, or do you take it on board?
A lot of people talk a lot of crap, really, and I'm one of them. I'm pretty good at it. I've listed a whole heap of players that we've got, and that's fine, but it doesn't mean anything until we have a kick. We finished second in the Hudson, second in the Northwest, second in the Myers, so hopefully it's not second in the league, but we're hopefully pushing for the title. But there's a lot of things that could go wrong between now and then to stop that. So we've prepared a lot better than last year. Our pre-season last year, we were rubbish before the season. Came out and won our first three, so hopefully it's not the reverse of that. We played all right in the pre-season, we come out and play rubbish.
We wish you well with the season ahead. That pretty well concludes the formal part of tonight.